Lance Stroll's 2020 Formula One season has been one of two halves, with a really strong first part to the campaign, followed by, well, a rather rubbish run of recent form. From being a consistent point scorer early on for Racing Point that included a podium finish at the eventful Italian Grand Prix in Monza, Stroll has amazingly not had a single top 10 finish since. This is in stark contrast to his teammate Sergio Perez, who has delivered 48 points in the last 5 Grand Prix, as he's challenged for podium finishes in a bid to save his F1 career. So what's gone wrong for Stroll, and where has that early season promise evaporated to? Stroll initially hit the ground running for Racing Point at the start of the season, as he instantly felt comfortable in the RP20. While many had expected his more experienced teammate Perez to emerge as team leader and extract the most from the car, it was actually Stroll who proved to be strongest early on as he racked up the points. The Canadian finished 4th in Hungary and Spain, and enjoyed his best race of the season in Italy, where he was in contention for the race lead before coming home in 3rd place behind Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. As Racing Point began focusing on finishing 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship, it brought a major upgrade to its cars for the Mugello race that immediately followed Monza. These parts were made exclusively available to Stroll, as he was the driver who was ahead in the standings. At that point in the campaign, Stroll was an impressive 4th overall in the Drivers' Championship on 57 points, only behind Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen. Perez, on the other hand, had 34 points after missing the 2 races at Silverstone because of coronavirus. But that Mugello weekend is actually where things took a turn for the worst. While running 4th in the closing stages of the Tuscan Grand Prix, Stroll had one of the biggest crashes of the season so far. A puncture caused by debris pitched him off the track at high speed at Arrabbiata 2, and he smashed into the crash barriers. He escaped without any major injury, but the upgrades were wrecked. His luck didn't get much better at the following race, when after Racing Point built and flew out replacement updates, he was spun out of the Russian Grand Prix quite controversially by Charles Leclerc on the opening lap, and recorded another DNF. After Russia, Stroll was struck down by illness, and after being unable to take part in the Eiffel Grand Prix, he tested positive for coronavirus on the night after that race. Following a period of self-isolation, he was given the all-clear to return to action at Portimao, but the Portuguese Grand Prix was a difficult weekend for him. He was caught up in a controversial and much talked about incident with Max Verstappen at Turn 1 in Friday practice, and then in the race, he was involved with a clash with Lando Norris that earned him a 5-second penalty, before having another sanction given to him for breaching track limits. In the end, he was retired from the race. Things did not get much better at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix either, when a first-lap crash with Esteban Ocon, which broke Stroll's front wing, forced him into the pits for repairs and left him out of the points all afternoon. So after 5 races where Stroll has failed to score, while Perez has put 48 points under his belt, is that just bad luck? Or are there other factors at play? From Racing Point's perspective, the team think that a combination of things have come together to unsettle the younger Canadian. The team's technical director Andrew Green admitted that after Imola, Stroll was not where he was and had been lacking a bit of confidence in recent races. Green suspects that part of the issue has come from the impact of coronavirus, with some people taking much longer than others to get over the illness. The implications of what has become known as long COVID are still being investigated by medical professionals around the world, and it could be that Stroll has not fully flushed it out of his system, even if he feels as though the worst of it is behind him. Added to that, Stroll certainly took a big hit with his Mugello crash. While he may have escaped any physical injury from the high-speed shunt, accidents like that can lead to drivers needing more time to regain their full confidence again. Throw into that mix Stroll getting involved in incidents like with Verstappen in Portugal that can really disrupt the rhythm of the race weekend, and the time to get the momentum built back up can drag on. There are also some technical explanations for why Stroll hasn't been as confident in the car in recent races too. The upgrades that Racing Point introduced from Mugello came in several steps and included some suspension tweaks from the Russian Grand Prix weekend, which moved the team a step closer to its plan to run Mercedes' 2020 suspension next year. The suspension changes slightly altered the characteristics of the car, and Stroll felt that the RP20 no longer reacted as quickly as he wanted on corner entry. He felt the car's change of direction was far too slow for his liking. For Imola, it was decided that Stroll would go back to the older version of the suspension, but that resulted in a bit more of a nervous handling car instead. The change in car balance, which was manifesting itself in excess sliding, put extra load through the tyres and meant Stroll could never find the kind of limits that he had previously been able to do through practice. On a normal weekend, Racing Point would have been able to change the suspension on Friday night and go back to the new design. However, with Imola running over just 2 days, there was no time for that, so Stroll had to live with the older suspension for the entire event. For the Turkish Grand Prix, Stroll will be able to run with the new suspension, and the team will hope that him just having seen the checkered flag at Imola, even if it was out of the points, will at least have given him some valuable mileage in getting his belief back. Racing Point remains convinced that Stroll's current issues are only temporary, and that he can get back to the kind of strong form he showed at the beginning of this season. As technical director Andy Green said, he just needs to get his confidence back again and believe in himself. Do you think Lance Stroll can turn things around again? Or how do you rate his season so far? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.